The clock reads 10:43 in the evening. The January transfer window shuts in exactly 77 minutes. You stare blindly at the medical report on your desk. It is a dense, 60-page PDF document. The player is a 19-year-old Brazilian forward. He is supposed to cost £40 million today. The club owner is shouting on line 1. The player's agent is screaming on line 2. Your head physiotherapist just flagged a microscopic meniscus tear. It is barely visible on the MRI scan. If you sign him and his knee shatters, you are fired. The investment will vanish into thin air. If you walk away now, the fans will riot tomorrow. The local press will demand your immediate resignation. This is the absolute peak of elite football recruitment. You hold the entire financial future of a Premier League club. Your pulse thumps violently against your tight shirt collar. You have exactly 60 seconds to give the final verdict. You must bet your entire reputation on one flawed knee. The stress is physically crushing your chest. How did a simple, pure love for football turn into this? To understand how you hold this terrifying level of responsibility, we must look back. We have to rewind the clock to day 1. You do not start your career in a leather boardroom chair. You start in the freezing, relentless rain. It is a miserable Tuesday night in Staffordshire. You are an unpaid regional video scout for a lower league team. The wind cuts violently through your cheap club jacket. You hold a soggy notepad and a freezing pen. You are watching a meaningless under-18 academy match. The football on the pitch is disjointed and ugly. You are not looking for the perfect, spectacular goal. You are looking for first touch under extreme pressure. You are hunting for elite spatial awareness in teenagers. You drive home in a freezing, broken-down car. You log into the Y-Scout database at midnight. Your hands are still completely numb from the cold. You watch hours of grainy, poorly lit tactical camera footage. You meticulously tag every single player action on the screen. You are deeply analyzing passes per defensive action. This intense pressing metric is known in the industry as PPDA. You calculate expected assists for teenagers nobody else cares about. You track progressive carries into the final third. The financial pay is virtually non-existent at this level. You survive on meager petrol money and cold stadium pies. You live in total, paralyzing fear of making a mistake. Missing a top talent means your temporary contract is shredded. Recommending a total failure is actually even worse. It means nobody in the tight-knit industry will ever trust you. You sleep a maximum of 4 hours a night. You constantly dream in spreadsheets and complex tactical diagrams. Your friends think you simply watch football for a living. They do not understand the brutal, relentless daily grind. This is a massive, unforgiving, global data factory. You are just the lowest, most expendable cog in the machine. But you keep your head down and work obsessively. You write over 300 detailed reports in a single year. You spot a raw, aggressive teenage winger playing in League Two. You confidently flag him as a high-potential acquisition target. 6 months later, your club signs him for absolute peanuts. He scores a brilliant goal on his senior debut. Your phone rings at dawn the very next morning. The chief scout demands to see you in his office. This was no longer a simulation. You have officially entered the professional bloodbath. But what they did not warn you about climbing higher was the sheer scale of the deception. You are officially promoted to first-team scout. You are immediately given the lucrative South American territory. The promotion came with a hidden cost. You are no longer freezing in a quiet Yorkshire stadium. You are sweating in a hostile, crowded stadium in Buenos Aires. You spend 200 days a year in cheap hotels. You live permanently out of a battered, heavy suitcase. Your passport is completely drained of blank pages. You are no longer just looking at raw, athletic talent. You are now deeply evaluating complex human psychology. You are looking closely at a player's fractured family structure. You are investigating their secret nightlife habits and vices. This is exactly where the structural failures of the industry begin. You quickly discover that pure talent is never enough. The entire transfer system is heavily manipulated by third-party intermediaries. You find a generational, explosive talent in a Brazilian favela. You write a glowing 80-page analytical dossier on him. You recommend an immediate, aggressive transfer bid. But the proposed deal hits a massive operational bottleneck. Your club relies too heavily on a cartel of super agents. Your target is represented by a fierce rival agency. The sporting director stubbornly refuses to negotiate with them. The deal collapses entirely over petty, historical, political grievances. You watch helplessly as another European club signs your discovery. He becomes a global Champions League superstar, dues years later. You realize the devastating, cynical truth of this business. The best player does not always get the contract. The player with the best industry connections gets signed. You must quickly learn to play the dirty political game. You must step up now or burn out entirely. You start building your own shadow network of paid informants. You buy expensive dinners for corrupt local sport journalists. You slip quiet cash to youth team kit men. You need the unvarnished truth before the slick agents spin it. You are operating daily in a dangerous, moral gray area. But it is the absolute only way to survive here. You outsmart a rival scout to secure a lethal Colombian striker. You bypass the greedy super agent and go straight to the family. The player signs the contract on your hotel bed. He scores 20 goals in his first Premier League season. You are immediately hailed as a recruitment genius. The board of directors demands an urgent meeting. You are moving rapidly up the ruthless ladder again. But what they didn't warn you about the senior rank was the crushing weight of management. You are officially appointed as the head of recruitment. You no longer do the grueling manual scouting work. You transition entirely from field execution to pure boardroom strategy. You now manage a volatile network of 15 regional scouts. The psychological change is both profound and utterly terrifying. You are no longer watching 90-minute football matches. You are watching complex data dashboards and tight budget forecasts. Your mistakes no longer cost you just extra hours at a desk. Your mistakes now cost the club tens of millions of pounds. They cost innocent staff members their entire livelihoods. You are handed a strict transfer budget of 60 million. You must allocate every single penny with surgical, mathematical precision. Your tired scouts send you 500 reports a week. You must ruthlessly filter the noise and find the signal. A senior scout recommends a highly rated Dutch center back. The defensive data looks absolutely flawless on the screen. His aerial duel success rate is statistically elite. His progressive passing numbers break your internal club models. But you have to make the terrifying final call. If he fails on the pitch, the scout is not blamed. You are the only one who gets publicly fired. You authorize the massive £20 million transfer fee. The player arrives in England with huge expectations. He cannot handle the brutal physical pace of the Premier League. He looks absolutely terrified every time he touches the ball. The ruthless tabloid press destroys his confidence immediately. The angry fans boo him off the pitch at halftime. The desperate manager blames you publicly in a press conference. You feel completely sick to your stomach for weeks. You realize the terrifying, isolating reality of leadership. You cannot control what happens on the green grass. You can only control the statistical probability of success. You must become completely emotionally detached from the sport. You must view young human beings as volatile financial assets. You fire the veteran scout who recommended the failed defender. It is your first time personally firing someone. It breaks your heart, but you have no other choice. You must protect the institution of the club at all costs. You pivot the recruitment strategy entirely toward artificial intelligence. You build a proprietary algorithm to evaluate hidden character traits. You completely stop relying on flawed human eyes alone. You start winning the vicious recruitment war again. You build a young, dynamic team that qualifies for Europe. The billionaire owner invites you to his private yacht. You are about to reach the absolute summit of the industry. But what they didn't warn you about the highest rank was the toxicity of the boardroom. You begin to uncover the hidden, institutional forces of the industry. These are the dark forces that outsiders never ever see. The daily corporate bureaucracy is absolutely suffocating your workflow. You are constantly dealing with complex post-Brexit work permit regulations. You are calculating governing body endorsement points every single morning. A foreign player needs 15 points to legally enter the UK. You find a brilliant, raw kid in the African leagues. He has the undeniable talent of a generational superstar, but he currently only has 12 active GBE points. You spend grueling months appealing to the FA tribunal. You are drowning in red tape and exorbitant legal fees. The appeal is coldly denied by a panel of bureaucrats. You lose the generational player forever to a German club. You also face vicious, daily internal budget games. The powerful commercial department constantly fights your recruitment strategy. You want to sign an ugly, hard-working defensive midfielder. He will tactically stabilize the entire defensive system, but the marketing director desperately wants a glamorous attacking player. The glamorous player sells thousands of replica shirts in Asia. The board sides heavily with the marketing department's revenue projections. They force you to sign a selfish player you do not want. He immediately destroys the fragile dressing room harmony. The manager gets sacked just 3 months later. You are forced to clean up the toxic, expensive mess. You have to negotiate massive severance packages and emergency loans. You are dealing with painful institutional compromises every single day. The impatient owner demands immediate, guaranteed success on the pitch. But he refuses to upgrade the crumbling training ground facilities. You are fighting a bloody war on 2 distinct fronts. You are fighting rival megaclubs in the hyper-inflated transfer market. You are fighting your own board for basic operational resources. The chronic stress begins to physically destroy your body. You develop severe insomnia and dangerously high blood pressure. You miss your daughter's birthday for a meaningless scouting trip. You miss your wedding anniversary for a deadline day crisis. The demanding job is consuming your entire human soul. You are a highly paid prisoner to the transfer window. You pull off a miraculous, desperate January rescue mission. You sign 3 unknown, cheap players who save the club from relegation. The relieved owner decides you are the only one he trusts. He ruthlessly sacks the current director of football. He officially gives the prestigious title directly to you. You have finally reached the top of the mountain, but what they didn't warn you about the peak was the devastating silence of total isolation. You are now the all-powerful director of football. You sit alone in the massive, glass-walled corner office. You have absolute, unquestioned command over the entire sporting project. You oversee global scouting, sports science, and the youth academy. Your annual salary is well into the millions of pounds. But you have never felt more utterly, profoundly alone. You have absolutely no real friends left in the building. Everyone simply wants your job or your massive budget. The greedy agents treat you like a walking bank vault. The new manager views you with deep, lingering suspicion. You do not actually watch football matches anymore. You just manage catastrophic, multi-million-pound organizational risk. You spend your long days in endless, boring legal briefings. Let us know in the comments, if you knew the toll, would you still climb this ladder? And, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching.